What?
We passed our COVID-19 audit! Woo! So we passed the audit, and it is such a relief. It's a weight off our shoulders. So yes, I've been a little extra happy this week. So when you get audited, especially during this time, everything's virtual. So with everything being virtual, it's all submitted online, which is fine. They do try to make it quite efficient for you, but it's still a lot of work. So there's the Privacy Act. So due to the Privacy Act, when they're looking for proof of employee information, we need to black out certain information on the documents, and then you need to photocopy it like 3 times, and then you need to scan it so that the information for sure is not visible. If you think about 30, 40 pages of stuff that you need to send in, let's say, and then you got to black it out, photocopy it 3 times, take the 3rd copy and scan it and send it in. It takes time, so you have the time to process the fact that you have an audit. Then you need the time to find all the documentation they need for the audit. Then you need the time to make the copies for the audit. And then you got to get the courage to send it all in for the audit. And then you sit there and patiently hope that you passed because you've done everything you can. I knew we had done everything we could. We've got great staff here. Like they're dedicated and they're passionate and they're there to help, and we're very, very, very fortunate. So I know we had done the best we could with the information we had and the knowledge we had. But until you get that confirmation from the government saying you're good, it still weighs on you. Yeah, so anyways, to get that email saying we were good was a massive weight off my shoulders and allows me to refocus on other things now as opposed to constantly thinking about what I didn't do or what I should have done differently. So it's good. So what are some of the, so we got the garlic update you said.
People want to know how our garlic's doing. It's doing really, really good, guys. And the plants, there's lots of plants outside, so all that stuff that we did before, the seedings, they're outside, and we've actually reseeded the greenhouse again. One house is up, the other house is about to come up, probably in a day or 2. It was seeded yesterday, and you know what? The peas are there, the favas are there. Let's do an update. They're doing really, really well. I told everybody that they're going to come through the cold really good, and they do. They love that weather. And then there's broccoli. Broccoli was planted before the frost, -5 weather. It's coming around really good. You guys can show that too. That broccoli does take the beating if the plants have been hardened.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great. Lots of energy. I want to do everything with this weather because we've been a little behind with the weather we've had. But now the sun is shining. We're looking at Celsius now, 25 to 26, 27 degrees coming in these coming weeks. So we want to get some work done. We get a little anxious. And it's like you want to do everything at once, and you know what? And we can't do everything at once, so we have to do staggered. We are planting cucumbers today in the field. We're planting zucchini. We're planting more cauliflower, broccoli, more artichokes, and we're going to start planting tomatoes today. Tomatoes, I'm going to start planting on plastic. We're fine. Plastic energizes the ground and get that heat, nice hot ground. That's what they love. But I'm not going to do. Eggplants and peppers. They are the worst ones that they go into shock when they get the cold, and they actually go backwards. You want that ground to be nice and warm. So I'm going to wait for that stuff for at least another week. I'm going to say almost the first week in June is probably the right time. So every time we take advantage of this weather with those 2 products, eggplants and peppers, they just go backwards because nights are still cold. And the grounds are still cold, and just sit there and they go backwards, and it takes 2 weeks for them to catch up again. So it actually sets me back 2 weeks. So just a little bit of information, guys. Eggplants and peppers, I'd wait it out till the first week in June. I don't care which year it is, even this year, even though the grounds are dry. I put in my cucumbers because they're on plastic, same thing. And they were outside hardening. They got a bit, believe it or not, they got a little sunburn. We call it a wind burn, really. It's not a sunburn. And so they've hardened up. They're going to be okay. I don't even like doing that, but we did it because we had to get them off the ground here or there. They have to get in the field. Now I'm headed to find where my tractor is. We're going to start prepping some land. We're going to transplant some pumpkins. Just getting land ready so that we can, that my guys can keep planting behind me. Or else if we run out of prepared land, they're going to stop planting. That's not a good thing. Not in this weather. We want to keep going. we have lots of things to plan still. If he's done, it's fine too. All right?
Okay, bye.
All right.
Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
Can you explain some of the difficulties around how you find a balance between being completely present with all your tasks that you need to do, but also being active on social media and stuff?
We want everyone to feel like they're your only customer, and that they're getting their answers, and that they're special. Because we want to give that service, we want people to have that. So, and we're grateful for every customer we have. So I'll tell you, with curbside though, woo, we have customers reaching out to us through so many platforms. Like, there's Facebook messages, there's Facebook comments, there's Instagram messages, there's Instagram comments, there's Twitter, then there's email, then there's personal email, and then there's personal text messages for people who have had your number or know your number or look up your number. And then there's phone calls. And although those avenues for customers to reach out to us have always been there, it's just exploded this year with the numbers. And we're trying to still be on top of everything and still reply to everybody and still comment and still share things. And it's crazy, right? Like, at the end of the day, like, we don't have a department that does that, right? It's two of us, maybe three at times, and sometimes out of the three, none of us know the answer, let alone one. And then you got to go find the answer, and because you want to get back to them. So and all of that takes time. So that's taking up a lot more time than I think it has in the past. Nothing to complain about. It's just adjusting to it and figuring out how to best service customers through the avenue they want to talk to you about. So there's that. Content-wise, in terms of developing content for what we do marketing-wise, I think a lot of it comes from just, I think my brother said this the other day, when you've got work on your mind and it's a family-run business, your mind's always going, and you're always thinking about your day and what you need to do and what's going on and what's the challenges or opportunities or what customers have said to you or feedback that you've gotten. And it naturally comes back and you're like, we should do this, we should do that, or we need to do this. And then I write it down and then I tell Michael, right? That's Michael. And then I tell Michael, I'm like, hey, Michael, we should do this or we should do that. And then sometimes they're good ideas. Sometimes Michael's like, I don't know about that one, Nance. So we flesh it out. But we want to make sure we have stuff in the hopper all the time and we've got interesting content. But anyway, yeah, it's hard.
Hey, I see you found the movie star.
They needed higher ratings, so they had to hire the best.
We'll just take any ratings. We let you do it.
Where are you going?
I gotta go in the field.
Okay.
Oh, there. Go an update on the garlic. Say, sorry, Farmer Dom's too busy planting and doing all the work.
To be honest with you, it's overwhelming and stressful, and then it's like you're on your way home at 9-10 o'clock at night, and you're thinking like, that wasn't so bad of a day. We'll just do it all over again tomorrow. We've gone through so many challenges in this industry as it is that another one isn't really scaring me. Well, it literally went from -5 for every night for a week to beautiful daytime kind of. Let's get some crops in. You know what? We've gotten a lot done. Like from a year like last year to this year, we're quite further ahead. We've gotten a lot of plastic laid. This is all getting ready, all the prep for planting. It makes it a lot easier because then if we do start getting some rains again, we can still plant with plastic, which is nice. When you have rainy day work, it's always good when you have staff. So we're in our garlic field right now. Actually doing phenomenal. You hardly any weeds. We got good moisture underneath these raised beds. The consistency and growth and everything is good, all the same levels, which means that most of your garlic will come out being the same size. So we have probably another 2 to 3 weeks before we start seeing garlic scapes coming out of these. Garlic scape shoots up from the center of the garlic, from the bulb, and it shoots up, and it's like actually the flower bud of it, and you snap it off, and this is a very rare thing because it's not all garlic does it, and it's mostly the garlic that's grown in Canada that does it. It's a straight item that you snap off, and when you snap it, it curls. You can use it just like garlic. Some people actually prefer it better because it's a little bit more of a milder taste. That's one of the first field crops you'll see in markets and farmers markets and stuff like that. There was a time where farmers didn't even do anything with them. They were just a big waste. They'd actually leave them in the fields, and then restaurant industries and every celebrity chef and whatnot started getting into them, and they became a pretty big item. And people started making a demand for them, and there was probably a few news articles or something that went with it, and we saw a lot of them. I prefer them. I actually like them on a bruschetta or something like that. They do one of my favorite items.
What's the atmosphere been like in the office?
It's been intense, but the problem is everyone's busier than norm. When you're working the longer hours, the longer days. When we already were working above normal, so it's listen, it's nor here nor there. We've been through a lot, so I'm not worried. It's more we're trying to follow protocols and make sure that we can keep continuing to work safely. No matter what, even if this wasn't happening, pressures would be higher. No matter what it was. It's not the guys. It's the field conditions. It's the plants. It's the covers blowing up too high that are covering the strawberries. It's the too dry, too wet, too cold. There's always something. So everything's stressful. You just gotta learn how to deal with the stress. That's the hardest part. So here we're planting on plastic. These are our early zucchini fields, early for our areas. Some guys out west would have started about 2 to 3 weeks ago, right after the colder weather. They put covers, tunnel techs, and all that kind of stuff up. We plant on plastic with the wheel planter. This machine here, the drum pokes a hole into the plastic. The hole's there, and by hand, these guys here stick the plant in and seal it. And if you look, the plant is in a nice cup of water here. If you look here, the moisture content in the soil is amazing, where everything else is drier. So it does hold a lot more humid soil, which the roots love.
So Michael, we got spinach.
Yay!
This was just harvested. It's one of the first things that we're getting out of our fields this year. As you can see, I've already worked. So I'm getting these ready for the orders being picked up tomorrow. And we're just bagging them like this. So these bags are like 2-pound bags. Is that what we said? 2-pound bags? Approximately 2-pound bags. And it's basically like two bunches of spinach like you would normally buy in bunches. We can't bunch them though because some of them are a little bit short. But apparently they're really, really sweet. Stuart's been eating them. So that's the spinach. And then we got asparagus here too. So Stuart's working on asparagus. So Dominic just harvested these this morning, and we're just going ahead and we're bunching them in 1-pound bunches. So this is what they look like once Stuart does his magic with them. That's the before. Show you the before and after, right? That's the before. I mean, it's beautiful but messy. And then that's the after. There you go. A neat and tidy 1-pound bunch. And that's that. So that's the new items this week. This is what we're working on. And ever since we listed these on the site, they're very popular. Both asparagus and spinach. And asparagus really is just kind of starting. The frost that we had, the freeze, not the frost, that was a freeze a couple weeks ago, kind of killed what would have been the first crop. So this is kind of the beginning of asparagus. And the spinach withstands the frost. It actually makes it sweeter. So the fact that it was out there while the weather was really, really cold made the spinach actually taste nice and tender and sweet.
things are selling very quickly. So the inventory that it looks like we don't actually have. We're just kind of housing it until it goes out tomorrow and Saturday. So that's been my challenge, right? Kind of looking at product that way, because usually when you see a full greenhouse, you think it's full and it's, you know, we have a lot to sell, but Stuart has a list of flowers to pull for later on today for tomorrow's orders, and it's going to wipe out a lot of the hangers that are in there. It's a challenge because it looks like we have tons, but we don't.
It's a good problem to have, though.
So it's a good problem to have because, you know, as the old saying goes, if you sell out, you make money. But the other problem is I feel like we're disappointing a lot of people because we have calls constantly, right? Like, I mean, you're in the office, you know, like Ashley is answering calls, Lisa is answering calls, Nancy, and everybody like wants stuff, and we don't know if we have it. We don't know if we can provide it, right? So it's a good problem to have that you're selling what you got, but it's also, you always feel like you're letting people down when you say, I don't know what I have or I don't have.
It is frustrating the fact that we cannot provide product that we would normally have readily available this time of the year. There's so much quick demand.
So how am I feeling? I don't know. Like I haven't had even time to think about it, to be honest with you. It's been crazy. It's been kind of whirlwind, right? Because you think it's going to, you think it's going to go one way, and like we've been fortunate that we've put together a website and we've put product on the website and people have responded. You know what I mean? But it's overwhelming because I'm doing the website, I'm doing the inventory, it's overwhelming to kind of try to keep up with it all. And it is harder than opening up the doors and letting people in a sense, because there's a start and an end when you open the doors and you let people in. And I find myself like in the middle of the night, like updating a website and answering emails and that kind of thing. But yeah, but it is what it is. We have to, learn in the new world.
Hey guys, if you guys watched this video and you liked it, then you know what? Give us the thumbs up, and you know what? Subscribe, because we're going to be doing this all season long this summer. So we want you guys to watch us all the time.